Hello, good morning and welcome to today's class. Today's class is a continuation of our previous classes on simple equation, where we looked at change of subjects of formulas. And in our previous class, we have dealt precisely with the change of subject of a given equation. And in today's class, we'll continue with the second objective, which says solve problems involving change of subject of formula. So, we are going to continue today's class with word problems involving change of subject of formula. And the first question is stated on the board, that V is equal to 1/3 pi r square h is the volume of a circular cone of base radius r and height h. That we should make r the subject of the formula and find r when the volume is 898 whole number 1/3 centimeter cube, and h, which is the height, is equal to 70 centimeters. We should take pi to be 22/7. Now the first question says we should make r the subject of the formula. So from this equation, we says V is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h. We are to make r the subject of the formula, and in making r the subject of the formula, we can rewrite this equation to be V is equal to pi r squared h divided by 3. I'm going to cross multiply if this is over 1, and this is going to give me 3v is equal to pi r squared h. Thereafter, I'm going to move every other term that has no relationship with r from the right hand side to the left hand side, and since they are both multiplied with r squared, I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by pi h, and doing that, I will have 3v divided by pi h is equal to pi r squared h divided by pi h, of which pi will cancel pi, h will cancel h, and I'm going to have 3v divided by pi h is equal to r squared. Now I have made r squared the subject of the formula, but the question says we should make r the subject of the formula. So in making r the subject of the formula, since r is being squared, I'm going to find the square root of both sides, leaving us with square root of r squared is equal to square root of 3v divided by pi h. Square will cancel square root, leaving us with r to be equal to square root of 3v divided by pi h, of which the question says we should make r the subject of the formula. So I have made r the subject of the formula. The question also said that we should find r when the volume is given to be 898 whole number 1/3 centimeter cube, and height is given to be 70 centimeter. Also, we are told to take pi to be 22/7, and that would be, we said B, find r when V is equal to 898 1/3, and our h is said to be 70 cm, and pi to be 22/7. Let me confirm. Okay, that's what we have. But we have the formula that r is equal to square root of 3v over pi h. So we are going to do direct substitution, and this is going to give us square root of 3 times 898 1/3 divided by 22/7 times h, which is 70. So I'm going to express this as a I'm going to express this in fraction, and this will be equal to square root of 3 times, how do I express 898 whole number 1/3 as a fraction? I'm going to multiply 898 by 3 plus 1. So this will be 898 times 3. This will give us 8 times 3 is 24. You write down 4, carry 3. 8 times, carry 2, sorry, 24. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 2 is 29. We'll give you 9 and carry 2. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2, that will be 26. So 898 times 3 will give us 2694. Then plus 1 is to be 2695 divided by 3, or divide by 22/7 times 70/1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify the numerator as well as the denominator, of which this is over 1. 3 will divide itself, and also in the denominator I have 7 into itself is 1. 7 into 70 will give us 10. So that our new expression now will be, so that my r will become square root of, if you simplify the numerator, is going to give you 2695 to be divided by 22 times 10. That will be 220. You can then simplify the fraction under the square root sign to give you, by looking at it, look for a factor that can divide both the numerator and denominator, and looking at it, you discover that 5 can go into 2695 and 220. So let's divide by 5. 5 into 26 will give us 5 times remainder 1. 5 into 19 will be 3, remainder 4. 5 into 45 will be 9 times. And also 5 into 22 will be 4 times, remainder 2. 5 into 20 will be 4. So that I will have square root of 539 divided by 44. Okay, we have reduced it to square root of 539/44, and looking for factors that can go into 539 and 44. 2 cannot go, 4 cannot go, but looking at it, I think 11 should go. 11 into 53 will go 4 times, because 4 times 11 is 44, remainder 9. This becomes 99. 11 into 99 is 9, and 11 into 44 is 4 times, leaving us with 49 divided by 4. And I don't think we can simplify this further. This, we say r is equal to square root of 49 divided by 4, and which we can say it to be square root of 49 is 7 divided by square root of 4 is 2. So our value of r is equal to 7/2 2, which if you reduce to it as a mixed number is going to be 3 whole number 1/2, or we say 3.5 in decimal form. So this is our value of R given V, H, and pi. Next question says the formula B is equal to 40 plus 2W/3 is used for working out the electricity bill of B naira for a month, in which W kilowatt hours of electricity is used. That we should find the bill for a month in which 2,430 kilowatt hour of electricity is used. In this equation, that B is equal to 40 plus 2W/3 says that B is the amount you are to pay for your electricity bill per month when you used W kilowatt hour of power. So we are asked to find a bill for a month in which 2,430 kilowatt hour of electricity is used. It therefore means that we should find B when W is equal to 2,430 kilowatt hour. Okay, so what we are going to do is to substitute W for 2,430 in this equation, so that this becomes B is equal to 40 plus 2 times 2,430 divided by 3. And when you simplify this, you're going to have B to be equal to 40 plus 3 into itself is 1, 3 into 24 is 8, 3 into 3 is 1, and 3 into 0 gives us 0. So that 2 times 810 is going to give us, this is 1620, because 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 8 is 16. So that our B, which is in naira, is equal to, we have the naira sign, is equal to 1,640 plus 40, that will be 1,660 naira. So if the cost of electricity bill is 40 plus 2 times W/3, and you used up 2,430 kilowatt hour per in that month, this will be the required amount you have to pay as your light bill. Question B says we should find the number of kilowatt hour used by a consumer who received a bill of 2,456 naira. So that means if at the end of the month the electricity official comes with a bill of 2,456 naira for you to pay, you can as well, even without them telling you, know the amount of kilowatt hour you have used, and you know if you are being cheated or not. So B says we should find W when B is given to be 2,456. The equation is given as B is equal to 40 plus 2W/3. So what I'm going to do is to simplify, substitute B for 2,456 naira, and therefore make W the subject of the formula. So when you substitute, you are going to have 2,456 is equal to 40 plus 2W/3. so that this will give me, subtracting 40 from both sides, it will be 2456 minus 40 is equal to 2w over 3. So that 2456 minus 40 will give me 2416. When you subtract 40 from it, this is what you get, is equal to 2w divided by 3. Since this is over 1, I'm going to cross multiply to make w the subject of the formula, so that 2w, because 2 times 1, 2w times 1 is 2w, is equal to 2416 times 3. Making w the subject of the formula, we are going to divide both sides by 2. So we have 2w divided by 2 is equal to 2416 times 3 divided by 2. So that 2 will cancel out 2, and we'll have our w to be equal to 2 into itself is 1, 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 4 is 2, 2 into 1 is 0, remainder 1, that gives us 16, 2 into 16 is 8. So that our w now is 1208 times 3, which will be equal to, this is 1208 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. This 4 carry 2. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and this will be 3. So that our w will be equal to 3624 kilowatt hour. So you always write the unit associated with the symbol, of which w is defined as the kilowatt hour you used. So this is the amount of power which you have consumed in that month for you to pay a bill of 2,456 naira. So this will be your answer. Next question says we should make A the subject of the formula, given that a squared x squared is equal to a squared minus a squared w squared, and find the value of a to 2 decimal place when x is equal to 10 and w is equal to half. So what I'm going to do in this equation is I'm going to simplify and factorize out a, and therefore make a the subject of the formula. So this will be x squared being equal to a squared minus a squared w squared. Since we have a squared on the 2 terms on the right hand side, I'm going to factorize out a squared, leaving us with x squared is equal to, since a squared is common, I'll have a squared into bracket 1 minus w squared. When you factorize out a squared, this is what you have. Next is to divide both sides by bracket 1 minus w squared, so that this becomes x squared is equal to, x squared divided by bracket 1 minus w squared is equal to a squared into 1 minus w squared, all divided by bracket 1 minus w squared. So bracket 1 minus w squared will cancel out itself, leaving us with a squared being equal to x squared divided by bracket 1 minus w squared. Okay, but we are asked to make a squared, a, the subject of the formula, and not a squared. So therefore, I'm going to find the square root of both sides. So finding the square root of both sides, we'll have square root of a squared is equal to square root of x squared into bracket, divide by, into bracket 1 minus w squared. So that square root of a squared will be a is equal to square root of x divided by 1 minus w squared, and this will be a is equal to, this is x squared, square root of the numerator, square root of x squared is x divided by square root of bracket 1 minus w squared. You can either leave your expression like this, or since the denominator is the expression under the square root sign is a difference of 2 squared, you can simplify it further, or you leave it this way. Now we have made a the subject of the formula, and the next question says we should find the value of a to 2 decimal place where x is equal to 10 and w is equal to half. So what we are going to do is to simplify the value of x and w, and we will substitute the values of x and w and simplify to get our value for a. So we said b is to find a when x is equal to 10 and w is equal to half. So we got our equation to be a is equal to x divided by square root of bracket 1 minus w squared. So I'm going to substitute straight away. X is going to be 10 divided by square root of bracket 1 minus, what is w? W is said to be 1 over 2 squared. And when you simplify further, this is going to be 10 divided by square root of bracket 1 minus half squared is said to be half times half, and half times half will give us 1 over 4. Close your bracket, and this is equal to 10 divided by square root of bracket 1 minus 1 over 4 is said to be 3 over 4. So we'll have it to be a being equal to 10 divided by square root of 3 over 4, of which the denominator we have 10 divided by square root of 3 is still root 3 divided by square root of 4 is 2. So this can be simplified further as 10 divided by root 3 over 2, which can be further simplified to be 10 times 2 over root 3, which will give us 20 divided by root 3. But you cannot leave an expression where the denominator is an irrational number, so you have to rationalize the denominator, and in doing that you are going to have a to be equal to 20 divided by root 3 times root 3 divided by root 3, for which when you multiply this, we say you are rationalizing the denominator. In rationalization, if you are to rationalize the denominator, which is a 10, you multiply both the numerator and denominator by the value of the denominator, and this is going to give us 20 root 3 divided by root 9, of which root 9 is 3. So this is going to be 20 root 3 divided by 3, which will be equal to, so I'm going to look for the value of root 3, multiply it by 20 and divide by 3, of which this will be 20 times root 3. Value of root 3 is said to be 1.732, or divide by 3. When you multiply 20 by 1.732, you have let me see, this will be 17.32 times 2. This will be 4. 2 times this is 6 points. This is 4 carry 1. So you have 34.64. So our value of A will be equal to 34.64 divided by 3, of which when you divide this by 3 is going to be 3 into itself is 1, 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 4 is 1, remainder 1, into 16 will give us 5, remainder 1, into 14 will give us 4, remainder 3 into 14 is 3, remainder 2. Add 0 to that 2, it gives you 20, divided by 3 is 6, remainder 2, and that will give you 6666 as a recurring decimal. So this is equal to 11.5466. Let me wipe this away. 11.5466. But remember, the question says we should find the value of A to 2 decimal place. So to 2 decimal place, we'll have our value of A to be, our value of A becomes A is equal to 11.55, because 6 is greater than 4. So you round it up to 10 and add 1 to 4, and that will give you 11.55 as your value for A. Okay. Question 4 says, given that K is equals to Q times square root of D over R, we should make R the subject of the formula and find R when K is equal to 20, Q is equal to 15, and D is equal to 6. So I'm going to first and foremost make R the subject of the formula before substituting those values. So we have it that K is equal to Q square root of D over R. Making R the subject of the formula, I will first of all get rid of the Q. So I'm going to divide both sides by Q. That will give us K over Q is equal to Q root D over R, or divided by Q, of which Q will cancel Q, leaving us with K over Q is equal to square root of D over R. Now I have succeeded in moving Q to the other side of the equation. What next I will do is to get rid of the square root. And how do I do that? By squaring both sides. So when you square both sides, you are going to have bracket K over Q squared being equal to bracket square root of D divided by R all squared. Square will cancel square root, leaving us with When you simplify this, you are going to have k squared divided by q squared being equal to d over r. I'll therefore cross multiply and simplify for r. When you cross multiply, you are going to have k squared r is equal to dq squared. And in order for us to make r the subject of the formula, we divide both sides by k squared. That will give me k squared r divided by k squared is equal to dq squared divided by k squared. K squared is going to cancel k squared, leaving us with r to be equal to dq squared. This will be dq squared divided by k squared, as r is made the subject of the formula. But the question says that we should make r the subject of the formula and find r when k is equal to 20, q is equal to 15, and d is equal to 6. So I'm going to substitute in these equations. In this equation, the values of d, q, and k to get my value of r. Okay, the second part of the question says we should find r when d is equal to 6, k is equal to 20, and q is equal to 15. But I already have the relationship that r is equal to dq squared over k squared. So what I'm going to do is to substitute all these values for d, k, and q in the relationship. So we have it that given that r is equal to dq squared over k squared, I'm going to substitute right away where d is 6 to be multiplied by q squared. Q is 15, so square of 15 is going to be 15 squared divided by k is giving us 20, so I'm going to square it too, so 20 squared. So this is equal to 6 times 15 squared means 15 times 15, all divided by 20 times 20. So we are going to simplify it further, of which I know that 5 can divide 15 and 20. 5 into 15 is 3, 5 into 20 is 4, 5 into the second 15 is 3, into 20 is 4, but 2 can divide further. 2 into 4 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 into 6 is 3, so that my expression now becomes r is equal to 3 times 3 times 3, which will be 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 divided by 4 times 2 is 8, 27 divided by 4 will be 27 in 8 into 27 will go 3 times, because 3 times 8 is 24, remainder 3 over 8. So this will be our value of r when d, k, and q are given. Question number 5 says we should make x the subject of the formula from this relationship, and b part says hence if a is equal to 4, b is equal to 1, and y is equal to minus 2, we should evaluate x. So first and foremost, let's make our x the subject of the formula, of which the equation is x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. First, I'm going to move this on second term to the other side of the equation and simplify, leaving me with x over a is equal to 1 minus y over b. I have moved the second part of the fraction to the other side, I'm going to simplify it before I'll cross multiply, and this will be x over a is equal to, this is 1 over 1 minus this. So I'm going to find the LCM. LCM of 1 and b is b. b divided by 1 is b. b times 1 is b. So this is going to be b minus b into b is 1. 1 times minus y is minus y. So I'm going to have b minus y divided by b. So that this becomes x over a is equal to b minus y over b. So in clearing the fractions, the fractions, I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so this is going to give me xb is equal to a into bracket b minus y, and in making x the subject of the formula, I will divide both sides by b. That will be x over b divided by b is equal to a into bracket b minus y, all divided by b. So that b will cancel b, leaving us with x is equal to a into bracket b minus y divided by b as our equation. Okay, we are asked to find x in question B, given a to be equal to 4, b is equal to 1, and y is equal to minus 2. I'll also do same by substituting 4, 1, and 2 for a, b, y in the given expression, which says x is equal to a into bracket b minus y divided by b. When you substitute directly, you're going to have 4 into 1 minus 2, okay, all divided by b, which is 1, and this is equal to 4 into bracket 1 minus 2, which says minus times minus will be plus, so it therefore means 1 plus 2 all divided by 1, which is still the same thing as the expression at the numerator, so that x is equal to 4 times 1 plus 2 is 3 divided by 1, which is equal to 12 over 1, and 12 over 1 is 12. So our value of x is equal to 12, given a, b, and y. Question 6 says, given this expression or this equation, that we should make y the subject and find the value of y given a, b, and x. So this is going to be, the question says x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. Same thing as we did in the previous example. This, we are going to subtract x divided by a from both sides, and when you do that, you have y over b is equal to 1 minus x over a, and this will be y over b is equal to, the LCM of a and 1 is a, and this becomes a minus x. Okay, and when you simplify further by cross multiplying, you are going to have ay is equal to b into bracket a minus x. Make y the subject of the formula by dividing both sides by a. You are going to have y is equal to b into bracket a minus x, all divided by a. So next is to substitute the values of a, b, and x. B says we should find y when a is equal to 2, b is equal to 5, and x is equal to 5 over 6. Already we have gotten the relationship for y to be y is equal to b into a minus x, all divided by a. So we'll go straight ahead and substitute, of which y is equal to b is said to be 5 into bracket a is 2 minus x is 5/6 divided by a, where a is 2, so that our y can be said to be 5 into bracket 2/1 minus 5/6, all divided by 2, which is equal to 5 into bracket, we'll look for the LCM of 6 and 1, which is 6. So this will be 6 divided by 1 is 6. 6 times 2 will be 12 minus 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 6 times 1 times 5 is 5, all divided by 2. When you simplify it further, you have y to be equal to 5 into bracket 12 minus 5 is 7/6 divided by 2, which will leave us with 5 times 7/6 as the numerator, divided by 2/1, which when you simplify further, you have y to be equal to 5 times 7 divided by 6 times 1/2. So this is equal to 5 times 7 is 35, divided by 6 times 2 is 12, of which this is equal to, since nothing can simplify further, we'll go straight ahead to divide the numerator by 12. 12 into itself is 1. 12 into 35 is 2 times remainder 11/12. How did I arrive at this? 35 divided by 12 is 2, being 12 times 2 is 24, and the difference between 24 and 35 is 11, all divided by 12. So this is your value of y given a, b, and x. Next equation says we should make r the subject of the formula from the given expression, and straight ahead we are going to do that. A, make r the subject of the formula. We have the expression to be v is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h, which we can simplify by cross multiplying, and that will give us 3v is equal to pi r squared h. Remember, our target is on r, so that means we are going to divide both sides by pi h, leaving us with 3v divided by pi h is equal to pi r squared h divided by pi h. Pi will cancel pi, h will cancel h, leaving us with 3v divided by pi h is equal to r squared. Now, in order for us to make r the subject of the formula, we are going to find the square root of both sides. So this will be square root of r squared is equal to square root of 3v divided by pi h, and square will cancel square root. That will be r is equal to square root of 3v divided by pi h. I believe we have solved a similar example like this. So we have made R the subject of the formula. B says we should find the value of R given that H is equal to 9 and V is equal to 1848 centimeter cube, with pi being 22/7. So we'll just go straight ahead and substitute, where the relationship says R is equal to square root of 3V divided by pi H. This will be equal to square root of 3 times V, where V is said to be 1848 divided by pi is 22/7 times our H being 9/1. This can be simplified to be R is equal to square root of 3 times 1848 divided by 22 times 9 divided by 7, which can further be simplified to be square root of 3 times 1848 divided by 22 times 9 times 7/1, so that this can be said to be equal to, now 3 can go, 3 into itself is 1, 3 into 9 is 3. Okay, 3 can still divide 3 and 1848, of which 3 into itself is 1, 3 into 18 is 6 times, 3 into 4 is 1, remainder 1, and 3 into 18 is 6. Also, 2 can divide 22 and 616. 2 into 22 is 11. 2 into 6 is 3. Into 1 is 0, remainder 1. Into 16 is 8. So that this becomes square root of 308 times 7 divided by 11. Let me see if 11 can go into 308. Yes, 11 can go. So that 11 into itself is 1. 11 into 30 is 2 times remainder 8. This becomes 88. 11 into 88 is 8 times, leaving us with square root of 28 times 7, of which 28 times 7 will give us square root of 196. So that our R is equals to square root of 196, and square root of 196 is said to be 14. So 14 is our value of R. Next question says the simple interest on the sum of money P after T years is given by I is equals to PTR over 100. We should make T a subject of the formula and find T given P, R, and I. So making T the subject of the formula, we'll say I being equals to PTR over 100. So first thing you need to do is to clear the fraction, either by multiplying both sides by 100, or you say you cross multiply, so that we have 100I is equal to PTR, of which our interest is on T. So we are going to divide both sides by P and R, leaving us with 100I divided by PR. PR is equal to PTR divided by PR. P will cancel P and R will do same, leaving us with T being the time is equal to 100i divided by PR. So we are asked to find T when P is equal to 3800, R is 4.5, and I is given as 342. So we'll go straight ahead to substitute into this equation. So T is equals to 100 times I, which is 342, divided by principal, which is 3800 times R, which is 4.5, and 4.5 as expressing it as an improper fraction is going to be 9/2. So I'm going to write it as 9/2. So when you simplify, divide both the numerator and denominator by 100, you're going to have this, and this can also be simplified to be 342 times 2, which is the fraction, divided by 38 times 9. So let's look at it. You discover that 3 can go into 9, and 342 as the smallest factor that can divide. 3 into 9 is 3. 3 into itself is 1. 3 into 4 is 1 remainder 1. 3 into 12 is 4. What else can go? You also discover that 3 can still go. 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 11 is 3 times remainder 2. 3 into 28, 3 into 24 is 8, and we have 38. So 38 can go into itself one time. Okay, so that our time is said to be 1 times 2 divided by 1 times 1, and that is equals to 2/1, which is equals to 2 years. So our time is given as 2 years, since T is said to be time. Question 9 gave us the expression that V is equal to root GD into bracket Y plus 3H/D, that we should make D the subject of the formula. So I'm going to make D the subject of the formula, which says V is equal to square root of GD into bracket Y plus 3H/D. First thing is to try and remove the square root sign. And how do we do that? By squaring both sides, so that we'll have V squared is equal to, when you square both sides, this square root side automatically goes off, which will be GD into bracket Y plus 3H/D. Our interest is on D. So what I'm going to do is to see how I can factorize out D. And how do I do that? I'm going to open this bracket, so that this gives me V squared is equals to G dy is equal to 3GDH divided by D. Sorry, this is plus, of which D will cancel D, leaving our expression to be V squared is equals to G dy plus 3GH. So my interest is on D. I'm going to move the second term to the other side of the equation by subtracting it from both sides, leaving us with V squared minus 3GH is equal to G dy. But I want to make D the subject of the formula, so I'm going to divide both sides by gy. This will be V squared minus 3GH divided by gy is equal to G dy divided by gy. G will cancel G, Y will cancel Y, leaving us with the expression or equation D is equal to V squared minus 3GH divided by GY as the equation when you make D the subject of the formula. And the B part says we should evaluate D if Y is equal to 9.8, H is equal to 15, V is equal to 5, and G is equal to 1. So that will give us that D is equal to, straight ahead I'm going to substitute. So V is given to be 5. This will be 5 squared minus 3 times, let me put this in bracket, G is given as 1 times H is given as 15 to be divided by GY. G is 9.8 to be multiplied by Y, which, okay, Y is 9.8, YG is 1. So I'm going to simplify that D is equal to 25 minus 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 15 is 45, divided by 9.8 times 1 is 9.8, leaving us with D is equal to 25 minus 45 is said to be minus 20, divided by 9.8, and minus 20 divided by 9.8 is equal to, if I multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10, this is going to give me minus 200 divided by 98. Why did I multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10? Is to make the denominator to become a whole number, and when you do same to the denominator, you do also do same to the numerator. Then I'm going to simplify it further to its simplest form, which will be D is equal to, let me write it, minus 200 divided by 98. And what can divide 298? You discover that 2 can go. 2 into 9 is 4, remainder 1. 2 into 18 is 9. 2 into 200 is 100, leaving us with minus 100 divided by 49, and this is said to be minus 49 into 100 will go, that will be 2 times remainder, because 2 times 49 is 98, so it's remaining 2 over 49. So this will be your value of D when V, G, H and Y are given. Okay, let's solve the last question for the day, that says the energy is stored by an object of mass m kilogram traveling at a height h meters with a velocity v meters per second is given by E is equals to mv square over 2 plus mgh joules. We should make V the subject of the formula, and this will be E is equal to mv squared over 2 plus mgh. Making V the subject of the formula, I'll move this second term to the other part of the equation, leaving us with E minus mgh is equal to mv squared over 2. Next is to cross multiply, and this will be 2 into bracket E minus mgh is equals to mv squared, and making v squared the subject of the formula warrants us to divide both parts of the equation by m, and this will be mv squared divided by m is equal to 2 into bracket e minus mgh divided by m. M is going to cancel m, leaving us with v squared is equal to 2 into bracket e minus mgh all divided by m. Making v the subject of the formula will be, when you find the square root of both sides, you are going to have square root of v squared is equal to square root of 2 into bracket e minus mgh all divided by m, and square will cancel square root, leaving us with v is equal to square root of 2 into bracket e minus mgh all divided by m. B says we should find v, given e to be 7,600, m is 35, g to be 9.8, and h is equals to 15. So I'm going to substitute into equation 1, and that will leave us with the value of v, which is equal to square root of 2 into bracket e is 7,600 minus product of m is 35 times g, which is 9.8, times h, which is 15, to be divided by m, which is 35. So when you simplify further, you have your v to be equal to 2 into 7,600 minus, so when you multiply 35 times 9.8 times 15 is going to give you 5,145 to be divided by 35. So this will be v is equal to square root of 2 into bracket 7,600 minus 5,145 will give you 2,455 to be divided by 35. This will be equal to square root of 2,455 times divided by 35 will be 4,910 to be divided by 35, which will give us v to be equal to square root of 4,910 divided by 35 will be 140.286 to 3 decimal places, and if you look for the square root of this, it's going to give you approximately 11.84422, but I asked to approximate it, so approximately to 2 decimal places, our v is equal to 11.84. That brings us to the end of today's class, and in today's class we have been able to look at the second objective on change of subject of formulas, which is to solve problems involving change of subject of formulas. For more videos on mathematics, kindly subscribe to this channel to be notified whenever such topics are ready. Thank you and goodbye.